Hey everybody, good afternoon, happy Saturday. Facing your fears. It sucks, it's hard. Facing your fears. Or you could ignore them, just do other stuff to occupy your mind so you don't have to do that facing of your fears. So you cover stuff up. But then as life continues and progresses, those fears build up because they're still there because you never faced them and dealt with them. Instead, you ignored them and covered them with external things in life. Shadow work. Shadow work. Going within yourself and finding the stuff that you don't like. It's okay. It could be scary to look inside yourself because you are frightened of what you may see. You might see some ugly stuff in there. You might have had some ugly thoughts that are still lingering in there. And it can be frightening because then you panic, you over panic, and you say, oh shit, I must be the devil. I must be Lucifer because I'm feeling bad. No, that's not the case. It's an emotion. It's just an emotion. Doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're the devil. It simply means that you have things that you need to work on in order to grow within yourself. So the first thing is recognizing the sin that you're struggling with, or the emotion that you're dealing with, or the mental problems that you're dealing with. It could be on whatever level, but because the message is universal. Mental stability and health. How do you get that? Well, you have to get rid of things that are still behind you, that you're hiding behind. So like if you have a lot of stuff that you're carrying within and you're not dealing with it, you start to not like yourself because you're holding on to things that are not of you. And it builds up. And then you don't want to face your fears and you hide even more. Well, look, I have an idea. Let's do this. This is what I've been doing. It's hard. I've been trying to face them, facing my fears. I got fears. Some of them aren't even justified. Some of them are silly, and then others are. But I'm like, okay, head on. So I got to do this. I'm scared, but I have to face my fears. So how can I best help me to get through this and face the fears? Because we can't just keep piling stuff behind us and think our soul house is going to be happy and think we're going to be able to sleep well at night. If you have undealt with trauma, abuse, or maybe things that you have done, if you don't deal with it and recognize what you've done, and then change your ways, what does that say? What does that say? Growth, people. We need growth. Personal growth. Responsibility as well as growth. And it's hard. I'm dealing with that. Being responsible for yourself. Because as you get to really know yourself, some people already know themselves. And then us, where some of us are still learning. I'm still learning myself because of all the abuse and the other stuff that I went through growing up, I never really had a true identity, sense of self, or a security. My life was chaos, constant, bad, constant. So I am learning now. And here's what I'm learning on my deliverance process and learning my knowledge of self and my supreme mathematics. Yes, what I'm seeing is there are things in me that I don't like. And so I'm like, well, if I don't like it, why don't we change it with outward things? Start changing that behavior. Start adjusting yourself. Because once you start seeing these things that are not of you and you bring it to the surface, you could deal with it, comprehend why it happened, see if you could fix it. Maybe if it's an apology to someone, or maybe if it's just letting go of a bad memory. And once that has happened, you could then make a plan for, okay, how do I get rid of this so that I don't have to deal with this particular trauma or situation anymore? So you find the solution. Okay, Then you have to implement said solution. You got to walk it out. It's scary. It's scary, especially because you don't know what's going to happen, and that can be scary. Because when you're in a cycle of repetition, you always know what to expect, so it can make it easy for some people, because they just keep taking that merry-go-round and round and round. Or you could jump off and see what else is out there. Find your true, unique self. But you have to deal with undealt with traumas, thoughts, negativity, because soul work takes work. You got to put in the work. You pray on it so that you can manifest it and do it. So, I'm learning to face my fears. And it's hard, but I am finding that as I'm going through this and facing my fears, I have found that those things, once I accomplished this, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be at all. In fact, some of them were quite easy. So sometimes we'll do that. We'll make a big deal of something that is nothing. Or we'll ruminate of how we could have done a situation better. And we'll ruminate on all kinds of different fantasies and ways we could have handled it better and a way it could have went. But in real time, time is still passing by and you're just ruminating on what ifs when you could be functioning and doing. There would be no what ifs. It's going to be, what are we going to do next? Because you're constantly moving forward. Growth. The race is only you. There's nobody else in your race. We're all in it together, because that's what we need teamwork for. We help each other. If we're racing and you're struggling, we're still going to help you get through. We're not going to leave you behind. You never leave anyone behind, even if it's a race, because what if the winner is actually the last one? The one who looked out for everybody else to make sure they made it through. Maybe that's actually the winner. You never know. It could be reversed. And it is retrograde right now. It is. So don't be afraid to come in last. Nobody gets left behind. Your race is only with you in your mind. Where are you now compared to where you were before, last year, the year before, birth, whatever, from whenever. Have you grown? And I'm not talking about your body, I'm talking about your knowledge, the things you've done on this earth, what kind of legacy you have left. It doesn't have to be a huge legacy. I'm not talking about riches and fame. I'm talking about your character, your soul, your inner being. When you are no longer here, will memories still surface in other people about you that are positive? Did you enrich their life? Because we're called to help one another. You know, sometimes we got to carry one another through hard situations for a while. You're not doing everything for a person, you're helping them through. Same with you. We are in a growth process, and as we're going through it, people who are in similar spots, or maybe who have surpassed that, who see us about to go into a similar situation, they might step up and say, hey, let me help you out here. I see you stumbling a little bit. Let me help you and help you get back on track. But they can't stay with you forever. The race is only against yourself. We're all in it together, but it's a personal journey of growth. And the race isn't about time, because time doesn't even exist. We could do another video on that. But your soul growth is important, because as a soul being, you are an eternal being. You came here to earth to learn our earth lessons. I keep changing it to me, you, our. I keep changing because I mean all of us, everybody. I don't care your color, your race, your religion, if you sleep with men, women, whatever. I still love everybody. I want everybody's soul to have growth. That's all I care about. I care about the soul in a being. I don't care about your political beliefs. I'm not saying you're not valued and the things you care about are not important. I'm saying I'm not going to judge you based on those type of things to determine if I could like you or not. No. See, we're not called to judge one another like that. You know, come on. So we're supposed to help uplift one another, even through scary times. Now, when you're doing your shadow work, you may start having triggers happen where you might regress back into an old memory, because you might find, oh, I have anger, or I don't know. Yeah, I have anger. Why? Because I was abused when I was little. Well, what happened? How did that happen? What did you feel at that moment? And then once you get to that, and you can see your younger self, see you're doing your shadow work, but you're also going into your inner child and finding, well, what happened? Where did the trauma come from? Where do we start? Let's start from the beginning, nip it in the bud, pluck that out from the root. So we are not nipping it. We're going to pluck it out from the root, break the yolk, and just get rid of any bindings and bad stuff. And we will remember what happened, accept what happened, apologize to ourselves for holding on to trauma and guilt that wasn't ours, apologizing to those around you who have had to witness this, which means you weren't operating at your highest self, so they had to deal with your lower self, which isn't always fun. Boy, that's a really nice way of saying sometimes we can be assholes. But in the end, we all toot together. Wait, no, okay, I'm being silly on that. But shadow work is hard. When you're doing the inner child work and you're doing shadow work, it's not fun. It's not like a light worker. Shadow worker works behind the scenes and deals with emotional stability and soul growth. We all have the same eternal essence. So why? Never mind. I'm going way out there. I do that sometimes. I'm going to cut this here because I'm just chit-chatting. I'm hoping you guys are hearing me. I love you all. And Rebecca, I really, really like you so much. You give me so much inspiration. You really, really, really do. And Holly, holy, Holly. I love you. You're one of my favorite super soldiers ever. Your soul growth. Oh my gosh. Yes, you continue forward. And I was so happy to see that she went into ministry. Or you, because I don't know if you're listening or if I'm talking to other people about you now. But I just wish everybody good stuff. That's all. I'm really thankful for the people that I've had walk with me on this journey here on earth. And while I've been delivered of some stuff while I'm doing my shadow work, I thank people around me for putting up with me during it. But if they see true growth, they see the process of, you know what, okay, yeah, there's growth there. You can tell because this person's life has changed and they're doing these new things. So it's easier for people to forgive you. So, you know, if people see growth and you could, well, just be repentant. Don't fuck people over. Don't fuck yourself over. Apologize to you. See, I don't even want to do it. Apologize to you for holding guilt and trauma. That's not your fault. Stop. Move forward. Apologize to people around you for your past behavior. Hopefully, if you're truly repentant, they'll be forgiving of you. They'll see that you were living, whatever, and they'll have compassion on you because they're more stable. No offense to people, including myself, because I'm not always emotional. Obviously, I'm not that stable because you can see with my. I mean, I'm not saying I'm crazy, but I'm just me. I'm just Jody, and I'm just sharing my opinions, my thoughts, my views, brainstorming my thoughts, sharing my deliverance process, hoping that it helps somebody somewhere, somehow, in some way. Because I found that videos of people doing stuff and just talking normal was so helpful to me, especially when I was lost, when I was in the desert, You know, when you're wandering in the wilderness. You make it through it though, because you're strong. And there are people around you that are going to support you. And there are hidden armies and factions. God is good. You know, Jesus has a war. He already won the war. You don't have a war. He won it. He won it. Recovered. And you guys know when I talk about Jesus, I don't mean Borgia in the books with the blonde hair. Jesus was brown. He didn't even speak English or any of the, but that's, see, sometimes a lot of my friends don't like that particular, I'm not going to, never mind. I guess politics and religion are no-nos. Sometimes I don't always get the social cues, and people be like, "Ooh, we don't talk about that." And I'm like, "Oh, we don't? No. And I'm like, my apologies. A little slow in some areas. So sometimes I don't get it. I don't always, but I'm doing my best, and I am growing. Let your soul grow. Oh boy. All right. So while, where did I put, oh, it's over there. Okay. While I close this message, I really just hope I don't look crazy to people. That's for one. I may appear that way to some because obviously if I disassociate a bit from a current memory to a past memory, not leaving myself, not disassociating like DID, but divided mind, because part of my mind is here and then part of my mind is still back in the old trauma mind from when I was a child, trying to figure out what happened to me because I have blank spots in my mind, so I can't fully remember the trauma. But then I struggle to unlock that lost part of my childhood if I can't find or deal with or acknowledge the trauma. Because in order to, I believe, grow, you have to have all your parts. So you have to be whole. So that means you've got to deal with the traumas and stuff. And it's hard, but it's possible. I'm doing it. You could do it too. So, final note. If you need a friend, I'm your gal. Say hi. Leave a message. It's not a phone call, but I mean a message, text something in the little screen below here. Just, hi Jody, you're not crazy, or if you are, I'll join the club. I don't know, the brainstorm club. I don't know. All right, you guys, I love you all. I really do. Bye.